Welcome to another episode of Bridging International Waters. My name's Marcus, and the other amazing host is
Priyanka Pandit.
And we were just talking about coffee and chai before we started this recording.
I think everyone's wondering why we're so happy. And I think it's only because we were talking about something very close to our hearts, which is chai, and how we must have more of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had a very strong coffee, and Priyanka said, maybe chai. I said, do you know what? Yeah, chai is exactly, it's so close to my heart.
Absolutely.
I think when I went to India, I lived on chai, and it was the way forward. And yeah, I'm there. I'm there with you.
Yeah. We're all living on chai in India. Most of us, anyway.
The turmeric chais are so good as well. That real.
Oh, yes. So good.
So we're slightly distracted.
Less about chai and more about why we're here, which is the advantages of mediation. But speaking of chai and coffee, you will not believe how important even these nuances are when you're talking about mediation, right? And this is one of the most beautiful things about mediation as a process. You don't have to worry about being formal, even when you're talking about serious problems. And we're going to talk to you about all of those advantages in this episode. As we walk you through.
Well explored.
So yeah.
And if maybe if there was more chai and coffee and mediation, would you reckon we'll get faster resolutions? Who knows?
Oh, absolutely. But, yes, Marcus, do tell us why these kind of explorations also work. Please, all yours.
It. So basically, this episode's all about exploring why it works in many various types of conflict. So we explored business in our last one. Today we're all about the practical benefits of why choosing mediation gives us the absolute best space to save time, resources, energy, and moreover to actually expanding who we are as people, to understand others much more clearly. And with conflict, it's all about expansion and growth. It's about feeling the uncomfortable to find out what the resolution could be going forward. So yes, you may like chai, you may like coffee. We can both agree we like something hot, we like a hot drink.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the outcome, right?
Absolutely. So we can both agree that we need hot water in the room. What we add to that hot water is then up to us.
Absolutely, exactly. We've just solved it, and this again is supporting the discussion. It's this the emotional resolution. Like that's the next point. Literally just explored and sorted. The hot water, the emotional resolution that gets sorted. That feel good factor of what works for others that you would not see without stepping into the mediation setting, and
absolutely.
Encouraging that forward focus, that forward open expansion solution, what it looks like going forward. Yes, I would like chai in the office. Yes, I also would like coffee in the office. Can we move forward with that? I don't see why not. Let's put them both in the office and let's keep that happy, positive, constructive workplace culture, or culture if it's the workplace or others going forward. Now, world problems may not be solved by just coffee and chai, but I mean, you could say it's a starting point of how we got to the end outcome, the end resolution. It's that emotional support that is required. It's a requirement, but it's the most missed requirement in the whole setting of conflict.
Very true.
Priyanka, over to you.
Very true. I mean, if we can, imagine what happens if we don't pay attention and focus to this, right? To the human element, the human factor. Because we all know so well now what happens when you go to court or when you start legal proceedings, even if they're just arbitration. Yes, they may be faster, but look at the effort and the costs that it can take. It can take months, even years. In India, we've got such a long wait time for orders to come out, judgments to come out, the enforcement process. There's due process that you have to follow, so many norms that you're bound by. And, naturally, when you're putting in that much effort, there are so many people involved, the resources will impact you significantly. So budgets have to be put in place for, businesses in litigation. And if you compare all of that to mediation, you're saving so much more than just time and cost. The real benefit is the way in which you are approaching the resolution process, because there's just that entire load of formal procedure, of the pressure of if you've missed something critical, the risk of not thinking of something. All of that is just sort of taken away when it comes to mediation, because it's voluntary, it's informal, and it's confidential, and it is without prejudice. So when I say it's without prejudice, it means that you still have the right. If this doesn't work for you, you still have the right to go to court and seek closure if this doesn't do it for you. So it's really doing you no harm. But once you go to court and somebody else has the power to decide for you, then you're sort of bound by it.
Yeah.
So many disputes can be resolved in single, as an accredited mediator, even in the UK for international family disputes. You'll be surprised at how the mandatory mediation in the UK that requires people to go for compulsory mediation before they file. So many cases can just be resolved in that mandatory 1 hour of mediation. 60 minutes of your life,
Yeah.
allowing you to save your marriage or your family or that relationship that you have underlying there, instead of just throwing it away, or just out of disappointment, frustration, anger many times. So give yourself that one chance to give mediation a shot. I mean, by giving everything else a chance, why not something that's going to help you see things differently?
Yeah, absolutely. So well explained as well. That one session.
Yeah.
Give us an example then. That one session that you can pick out of the thousands of cases that you've done. That was the moment.
All right. I'll pick this one. So this was a family that came to me. They had a very young child. This was a child, the son was around 2.5 or 3 years when they came to me. And they had already been fighting for about a year and a half. And before, the wife was not happy with the lawyers. She was looking to change representation. And when she came to me because she was hoping that I'll be able to represent her in court. But then I sort of stepped back and I tried to understand what was happening there. And the husband was also, we happened to meet in court. So, and he was open to speak as well. So I suggested, why don't we just sort of talk about this? I'm not representing anybody right now. So I'm not taking sides. I just like to listen to both of you to understand what's happening here. And then, obviously, because I'm in conflict, I'm not going to represent either of y'all anyway. But I'm happy to have an open conversation with you, because they had a really tough hearing in court, and I could sense that they just needed to sort of talk to someone. And so we went to a coffee shop nearby, and luckily it was the afternoon, so it was not too crowded. So we got a nice, cozy, quiet comfort corner. And we ordered some cold coffees, and we sort of sat down, and I just started very informally, gave them a little bit of background about myself, how long I've been doing this, and asked them to introduce themselves to me and give me a background about their experience of what has happened so far. And I said, we'll make sure that we don't overstep time. They both had jobs to go back to. So I gave them 15 minutes each to sort of tell me what, their side of the story. And towards the end of the session, at around 40 minutes, between the 40 and 45th minute, both of them agreed that their primary concern was the child. And they both realized that they both wanted to do what's right and best for the child. And there were so many things that they agreed on, but
wow.
had not said to each other, because their lawyers had advised them, no, don't have open communication. Don't talk to the other side because you're in the middle of a litigation. And just that opening window sort of helped them look at each other and realize, we're just being silly. I mean, it's okay if we can't agree as husband and wife, but we're always going to be parents to this child.
Yeah.
And that sort of came through. And in 45 minutes, like they couldn't believe it. I think the next 10 minutes of our conversation was why nobody said this to us for the past 2 years of our lives.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, and then about a year and a half later, I got a message from that same wife who had approached me, and she sent me a message saying, Priyanka, you saved my marriage. We're
Oh,
together again. We're together
oh,
again.
fantastic.
And and we're bringing up our child together with more love than ever because we've learned to understand each other. We understand that we can be polarized, but we have the same, common intention. And it was such a good feeling, Marcus. I can't tell you how happy I felt.
Oh,
When that happened. I mean, it was just beautiful.
I can feel
So
the joy in that entire story and the
yeah,
outcome of how
yeah,
emotional it was. And
absolutely, absolutely.
oh,
Just that
wow.
one session of mediation that just closed it.
Wow. That is powerful. You've heard it here first, guys. That is saving time and the cost benefits. Well explained, Priyanka. That's just 2 years of that's a lot of. I mean, the costs, legal costs as well. From
Imagine the stress, the costs, the days of work you're losing, the strain that it's putting on your individual
yeah,
schedules, the, st- the strain that it was putting on this child growing up, not
that's the most
knowing
important
which of its
factor.
parent is going to be with. Yeah.
Yeah, and the confusion. Oh, just wow. Well, superb,
Thank you.
superb work. I
Thank
think
you.
the audience give
It was
Priyanka
it
a
was
clap.
all them.
That's what it's all about. That's to give
But
everyone give Priyanka a clap.
it was all the parties, guys. I literally did nothing.
Oh, fantastic. Well, this is it, isn't it? This is it. It's that lighthouse in the dark of misunderstandings, and that's what mediation really does provide. And I feel like one of the biggest pushes on mediation is taking that first step. It's taking that
Mm,
first step into the unknown. I always call the voluntary side of mediation. I think that's one of the strongest principles. And I say that because it takes a lot of nerve and a lot of time and consideration of putting your trust in the unknown, putting your trust in what could
yes.
be worked out
Yes.
in such a
Yes.
different way after being, in this respect, 2 years of in the
Yes.
unknown and costs and costs and costs. And whether to
Yes.
take in part, shouldn't I? What's going to happen next? It really is that unknown of, okay, I put my trust and faith in what can be, and taking that first step, that voluntary step, because you don't have to be in mediation. There's
Very
no
true.
legal, I mean, you don't have to be in mediation. As simple as
Yeah.
that. So to choose taking that first step into the unknown is a big, huge step. So well done if you have took your first step in mediation. Whether it's worked out or not, it's
Yes.
taking that first step into the beyond of, I want to explore what it could look like. Um,
Yes.
So whether you choose to take part, voluntary is a big step forward. And I always encourage it in my joint sessions where I go, well done first and foremost for taking that first step to volunteer your time and yourself to have a discussion today. So that is already a really big win for you both, regardless if it works out or not. It's a good step forward. And you
Absolutely.
third point again ties in great. Whether you choosing to
Yeah.
reach an agreement or not, you've already took that first step to do so. So building on that positivity and confidence going forward. Again, fourth point, creating a greater commitment to solutions because you've given up your time and energy to put into a new energy, time and outcome, what a resolution could look like. And I think that's the most exciting part. I mean, exciting. It's the exciting part for me for mediation, where it's like against all odds, they've tried mediation, they've took that first step forward. And again, agreements are more sustainable when people have took the confidence to take that first step rather than it just being bestowed upon them to do that. So I
So
love
true.
the voluntary.
So
I love the
true.
voluntary side of it. I do.
Absolutely, and so well explained, Marcus. I think, I mean, it's so important, right, to sort of know that you are here by choice and not by force, because it just puts you in a different mindset altogether when you're doing something out of your own willingness and volition. It's really, really important. I mean, because already when you're in conflict, you're so frustrated, and you're so disrupted. It really impacts your peace, believe it or not, whether it's personal or professional. Conflicts can really do that to you, and mediation really allows you, it gives you that safe space to really express yourselves without the fear of being judged. It's confidential. You know that nobody's going to be able to use it to your disadvantage. And being listened to. We spoke extensively in one of our previous episodes about listening, and then difference between hearing and listening and active listening. And just the feeling of being listened to, someone putting the effort to understand you, even if they don't fully understand you, just that can reduce tension and resentment so much. Because in most emotionally high settings, very often, when both sides or all stakeholders are emotionally very, very high, everybody feels like nobody's listening to them. So when you give them that safe space where they can really just talk it out, they feel like, okay, I got my say. I got the chance to really say what I wanted to say. And that can reduce the tension so much. And it leads to conversations. And the beauty of conversations is that it is so capable of repairing damaged relationships. It can create new relationships. It can create a totally different tangent to your relationship even. Conversations, once they start flowing, and you will see, and very often, almost always, it is the parties who will know the answers to their own questions. They will have their own solutions with them. We're really just guiding them to, deep dive within and come out with what's best for them. And this gives them closure from that situation that you so important, right? Something that they don't have to carry forward anymore. It's baggage that they can just move on from, and move forward, with their emotions, with respect, with dignity. Even if they've decided not to, stay together, or keep the relationship, or keep the contract, or stay in the same workplace, but it's given them closure from what happened. It's helped them understand each other better, and help them accept what they could have done better, and also many times you'll see so often parties realizing for themselves that they shouldn't have done that, and coming forward and volunteering to apologize, or volunteering to say that, listen, I'm never going to sort of do that again. And just gives you such a forward moving emotional closure, which is so important.
Yeah, well explained, honestly. It's like what you said, even if it doesn't work out, you still get closure. But if it does work out, you
Yeah.
still get closure.
Yeah,
It's a win-win regardless in that respect of
absolutely.
closure. Yeah, definitely. Well explained. But again, with mediation, we do our best to try and steer, keep you safe and steer it into a future focused type of situation of what it could look like going forward, and what it could look like if it was to work out, or that new chapter were to begin, or the new beginnings to come through.
Mm. Mm.
And it's like we angulate the questions and bring it back to yourself after we've done. It's probably about the middle towards the end of the process, something like
Mm.
the middle bit towards the end. And it's like, what would it look like to you if it worked out? And we part together really constructive questions that give great insight and thought of, well, I've never thought of that. It
Mm.
would look like this. It's expanding the mind, it's expanding the knowledge of, you don't have to be stuck in that situation. You can actually move forward from it. And
Move
it's
forward.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, oh, can we agree that? And then you'll see the playfulness of when they're trying to. So once the first resolution's done, you can work around to the next one. And usually by
Yes.
resolution 2 and 3, the case is resolved. It's like sometimes, let me just say, sometimes it's resolved. Um,
Yes.
And then I'm very politely saying that.
Yes.
Depending on the case, issue extends the history.
Yes.
But in a recent case, it was more like a, oh wow, and then it was playfully negotiating of what it would look like after that happened in the workplace, and it was like, I think they even asked me, so what do we do now? And I was like, well, you can, well, we're drawn to a close, and then these are your outcomes. I can email that to HR if you want me to email it to HR or not. But underlying issues are behind why things
Oh
happened
yeah.
come to the surface, and
Oh
you can think, oh, that makes sense why that happened. And if you get a sorry, fantastic. If you don't get a sorry, at least it's been heard and understood. Everyone works different, right? But again,
yes.
the approach to promoting that long-term stability is what
Yes.
happens when you deep dive into that future focused, because you may not even see that being so obscure and tunnel vision and what you may think is the outcome. So only until you take the
True.
glasses off and go, actually, there was loads of things we can think of. How about this, and this? And I think that covers pretty much that as regards to future focusedness.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. And bringing us to our reflection moment for the day. So, why it works, we've already said, because it feels, people feel respected in the process. And this is so important, right? Because sometimes fighting, either in court or in arbitration, I mean, that's what you're really doing. Even if you're not fighting, even if you're saying it respectfully, you're still defending a position that you sort of hold. And just that conduct can make somebody feel disrespected. But mediation is all about respecting where everybody comes from, being inclusive towards everyone's perspective, and still finding a way to sort of move beyond that. Um, and the dialogue that it creates, I mean, and the open communication that can then unfold. And so many beautiful things are possible when we just talk to each other, address the elephant in the room, so to speak.
yeah,
Uh, and
it's
just
transformative as
solutions.
well, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's so creative to see how people will come up with so many solutions that mediation can sort of help you achieve and actually act upon, which law will never be able to sort of do, you know,
Yeah,
irrespective of how forward thinking any country's legislature is or how inclusive anybody's legislature is. It's just like a beautiful, flexible process. And there is honestly no difficult conversation or situation that cannot be talked through.
yeah,
I mean, including really hard conflict as well,
yeah,
right? Historically, some of the greatest conflicts have much later, of course, unfortunately, damage has been done, but later, I mean, World War II is such an example, right? I mean, why did we get an international body? Why did we learn to collaborate internationally?
yeah,
We saw what happens when we don't extend that understanding to each other. We saw humanity as a whole suffer.
yeah,
And we consciously made the decision to make sure that we always have an opportunity, an avenue, a platform, or a forum where we can just communicate.
yeah.
And yeah, and I mean, that's all I think I can come up with right now. I'm
No,
looking at
honestly,
that
that's
reflection
absolutely
question, and
awesome. I was letting you run. I was like,
I'm
you
sorry.
got this. Go, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I love
And
it.
then I paused with your question, Marcus. Would you read that for us? I paused when I
Uh,
looked at your question, the reflection today.
when have you felt most respected during a disagreement? I felt
Uh-huh.
most respected when you could say, when I felt understood, when I felt heard and listened to, I felt most respected, even though we disagreed on the point. And that was the turning point of that. Do you know what? You respect me because you've understood what I've said. Even though I don't agree with the outcome, you've listened, heard, understood. And then I thought, do you know what? Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and if we circle back to chai and coffee, because that was how we opened, uh,
Yeah. Yes.
we could say some
Yes.
people like it's the hot water that binds them both together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I have a little bit, if you have time before I get to the bridge moment, I have a little bit of an anecdote here to share.
Yeah,
So one
yeah.
of my one of my friends and I were once opposing counsels in court, and because we both knew each other, we were batchmates from law school. We both gave each other the opportunity to state our case without, otherwise interjecting, interrupting, which happens very common, in most cases. And uh, at the end of that argument, the judge was also very pleased that we didn't, create any drama, and we put our points straight, saved a lot of time for court, and we walked out. And both of us walked out, after that session, and our clients were there. And then the minute we stepped out of court, we both said, you know what, this was great. Let's just do chai together now, because we've both given each other an opportunity to really talk through without talking on over each other, and just listening to each other. And then we both ended up going to canteen, and our clients were shocked. They were like, "Are these guys hands in glove? Are they what is happening here?" Because they were just fighting for different causes inside court, and this is what is happening outside court. But it was just. I mean, I had to say it because this is really what it's about, guys.
Yeah.
This is really what it's about. And now, of course, coming to our bridge moment for the day.
Do you know what? I pressed the button. That was. Oh, I pressed something, and there's a mic drop moment, and that was your mic drop moment.
Yeah,
literally. I thought that was perfectly timed.
Oh,
let's go.
Crazy.
Oh, amazing.
Okay.
Right, okay.
The bridge moment. Mediation works because people feel respected. Even this is your bridge moment, Marcus. You should take up this bridge moment. Yeah, this is yours.
Mediation works because people feel respected, even when they disagree. Come in full summary. If they disagree on chai coffee, that's a new one. If they disagree on coffee or disagree on chai, it's the hot water that binds the agreement together. And basically, when you do feel respected, like I said before, it was like I've been felt, heard, and listened to in that moment of disrespect of what would be not an agreed outcome. It was more like at least you've took the time out of your day to sit down and understand where I was coming from, even though that wasn't the right thing going forward. It was an idea that was suggested, and it didn't obviously stick, but I just thought it was like the respected version of, well, do you know what? At least you considered it. And that was the respect that held the situation going forward. This could be, again, a workplace situation, it could be a friendship situation. It could be a friend, like, where do you want to go on this adventure of the weekend? Well, you've heard them, we'll listen to what I did, but we can do that again next time. And this could be a community, you could work in the community, and everyone felt respected with the way it was going, but they didn't agree with where it was going, but they felt like they were heard and listened to. It really does bridge that gap of all settings, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So true, Marcus. And such a lovely chai coffee draw. I think we're really obsessed with that one in this episode.
I think I'm going to place an order for some chai coffee. Chai coffee. I've gone again with chai coffee. And
I'm going to encourage all of y'all who've heard this and been overwhelmed with our chai coffee. Please do leave your comments on whether or not you ordered one as well.
Yes. Is it chai or is it coffee?
Is it chai or is it coffee?
Or is it both? You have one of each per day? Oh, yeah. Brilliant.
No, but this was awesome. Thank you so much, Marcus, for this. This was lovely, and I look forward to the next one. Thank you.